참아 넘기다.
Turn the other cheek.
Peter! Turn the other cheek.
Isn't the Christian thing to turn the other cheek?
I tried to turn the other cheek. All right, one of you turn the other cheek.
He's a turn the other cheek kind of guy.
Because you don't turn the other cheek, you slice it.
아무것도 아닌 일.
A drop in the bucket.
It's a drop in the bucket.
Heck, 50 grand is a drop in the bucket.
This is just a drop in the bucket, mister!
It's only a drop in the bucket.
For frogs, it's just a drop in the bucket.
That's a drop in the bucket.
간신히 해냈어.
By the skin of your teeth.
Really? Not really by the skin of your teeth.
By the skin of your teeth.
You got in by the skin of your teeth.
Same way as everyone else will. By the skin of your teeth.
By the skin of your teeth, but you passed.
By the skin of your teeth.
더욱 노력하다.
Go the extra mile.
Go the extra mile!
Hell yeah, I'm telling you, they go the extra mile, man.
Way to go the extra mile.
At least now I'll go the extra mile.
Laverne, if you care, you'll go the extra mile.
I go the extra mile. You don't have to go the extra mile.
겉과 속이 다른 사람.
A wolf in sheep's clothing.
A wolf in sheep's clothing.
More like a wolf in sheep's clothing.
He was a wolf in sheep's clothing.
No matter how ugly it is, Starlight is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Maybe she's a wolf in sheep's clothing, but right now she needs to return to the flock.
She's a wolf in sheep's clothing, that one.
무지한 자의 지도.
Blind leading the blind.
No, you really are the blind leading the blind.
For Christ's sake, it's like the blind leading the blind with you.
The blind leading the blind.
The blind leading the blind, he's a kitty.
Blind leading the blind.
오늘만 즐기자.
Eat, drink, and be merry.
Eat, drink, and be merry, my dear.
So, eat, drink, and be merry because after the holidays it's over.
Eat, drink, and be merry. But tomorrow we die.
Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die.
Eat, drink, and be merry.
남을 먼저 비난하다.
Cast the first stone.
Jesus said, "He who is without sin cast the first stone."
You have no right to cast the first stone.
He who is without sin, let him cast the first stone. Oedipus hadn't ruined it for all of us, so fine, cast the first stone.
Which one of you can cast the first stone? You vampires cast the first stone by killing my family.
가장 소중한 사람.
The apple of one's eye.
Oh, look who it is. My husband, the apple of my eye.
You're the apple of my eye.
You're the apple of her eye, Judy.
I was the apple of his eye.
Will our child be the apple of his eye?
And his wife, Dolly? Well, she was the apple of his eye.
정의를 위한 싸움.
To fight the good fight.
You know, to fight the good fight for justice. It's good to meet someone who's on board to fight the good fight.
And keep in mind, it's hard to fight the good fight when you're not playing in the game. Hey.
To fight the good fight. To finish the race. To keep the faith.
성실한 사람.
The salt of the earth.
Yes. But this guy is the salt of the earth, I'm telling you. These people are the salt of the earth down here.
Because you're the salt of the earth.
Scott, you are the salt of the earth.
Walt and Ruby were the salt of the earth. And
The salt of the earth, as Americans like to say.
아이의 말이 진리.
Out of the mouths of babes.
Out of the mouths of babes.
Go.
out of the mouths of babes.
Out of the mouths of babes.
Out of the mouths of babes. Michael Scott is freaking cool.
Out of the mouths of babes, huh?
Out of the mouths of babes.
올바른 길을 걷다.
the straight and narrow.
But for now, for me, I gotta stand the straight and narrow.
Give me 24 hours on the straight and narrow.
I was on the straight and narrow until she came along.
I'm on the straight and narrow, honest.
You've been on the straight and narrow all year.
Good and I walk the straight and narrow.
I'm helping him to walk the straight and narrow.
금단의 열매.
The forbidden fruit.
This continued until one day Satan tempted the woman to eat the forbidden fruit, and she gave it to the man who also ate.
She just wanted to take a bite out of the forbidden fruit, I guess.
But now the forbidden fruit must be tasted.
The forbidden fruit was less of an apple and more like a banana.
It was the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden.
No touching the forbidden fruit.
Always the forbidden fruit.
눈에는 눈, 이에는 이.
An eye for an eye.
You know how the Bible says, an eye for an eye.
When it comes to an eye for an eye, Chuck's a man of the cloth.
An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, and a nose for a nose.
An eye for an eye.
An eye for an eye, making the whole world blind.
It's only an eye for an eye.
마음이 맞는 사람.
A man after my own heart.
A man after my own heart.
Man after my own heart.
A man after my own heart.
Oh, man after my own heart. Man after my own heart. You know that Gransom's a man after my own heart. You're a man after my own heart, Books.
혼란과 혼돈.
Tower of Babel.
Tower of Babel.
That is before God decided that man should speak many tongues after the Tower of Babel.
Right now, the online world is the Tower of Babel. Or is it the Tower of Babel? You can fire your arrows from the Tower of Babel!
갖지 못한 것에 대한 비방.
Sour grapes.
Some sour grapes, perhaps?
Yeah, we're not interested in your sour grapes, okay? And since I invited them weeks ago, I suspect they'll view your claims as sour grapes.
Oh, Stella, that was just sour grapes.
Dirty shame. Sour grapes.
That sounds like sour grapes. Very unbecoming.
하늘에서 내려온 축복.
Manna from heaven.
Yeah, well, this is manna from heaven. Manna from heaven. Manna from heaven.
My spunk is to you manna from heaven. Plain grilled food, manna from heaven.
도움을 준 사람을 해치다.
Bite the hand that feeds you.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you. You understand? You bite the hand that feeds you, you're gonna feel the burn.
Never bite the hand that feeds you.
Do not bite the hand that feeds you, Martin.
A word to the wise, Sam. Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Cats that understand that you don't bite the hand that feeds you.
선한 사마리아인.
The Good Samaritan.
But as usual, you have to be the good Samaritan, so here we are.
Would remember the Good Samaritan if he only had good intention.
Yeah, the Good Samaritan bit's not really playing.
It's called the Good Samaritan law. They're calling you the Good Samaritan.
I didn't say it anymore.
풍요로운 땅.
The land of milk and honey.
Thank you for inviting me to the land of milk and honey. It's you people that...
It's not exactly the land of milk and honey.
To the land of milk and honey.
What? Yes, sirree. I am gonna take you to the land of milk and honey.
I already told you, Smith. You're not welcome in the land of milk and honey. This is the land of milk and honey.
개인적인 짐이나 고난.
A cross to bear.
Oh, child, that is a cross to bear. Oh, child, that is a cross to bear.
God, a single mother, that is a cross to bear. I think
It's horrible to admit. But everybody's got a cross to bear, and you're my damn cross.
Fan. Nadine's got a cross to bear.
But a cross to bear.
죄의 대가,
Wages of sin.
The wages of sin don't earn themselves.
maybe that's the wages of sin.
The wages of sin, Arthur.
Other does he recall the wages of sin? He says, the wages of sin is death.
부모의 죄가 자식에게 이어진다.
Sins of the father.
Sins of the father, I guess. Sins of the father go on, from kid to kid to kid, unless someone...
But the sins of the father don't need to be visited on his children.
All my life I've been trying to make up for the sins of the father.
It's not your fault. Sins of the father.
실패하거나 잊혀지다.
Fall by the wayside.
Yes.
Don't fall by the wayside before the fourth floor. Certain social niceties might have to fall by the wayside.
Hey, I am not a bad person.
You think these fools, these rich white dudes, gonna let these sexiest sport fall by the wayside?
So all that extra muscle will fall by the wayside.
We all know that the economy is bad, and bloated companies like Dunder Mifflin are going to fall by the wayside.
전체를 망치는 작은 결점.
A fly in the ointment.
But a fly in the ointment exists.
Just a fly in the ointment, Hans.
It seems we have a fly in the ointment.
At the risk of being a fly in the ointment.
There is a fly in the ointment.
I know it's a bit of a fly in the ointment, but they're being really cool, letting me re-enroll.
불안정한 상태.
A house of cards.
No. It's a house of cards. There is no Yuri. It's just gonna tumble, all of it.
He knows this place will go down like a house of cards without me.
Rumor has it he's built himself a bit of a house of cards.
I have to.
A schedule set is like a house of cards. Jesus, if it didn't happen, it's a house of cards.
The whole thing's a house of cards.
돈을 받고 배신하다.
30 pieces of silver.
30 pieces of silver, is it?
30 pieces of silver.
You want to pay me? Huh?
30 pieces of silver.
There's no fat bastard chairman can sell us out for 30 pieces of silver.
They offered me 30 pieces of silver. I'm gonna need 30 pieces of silver.
By all accounts, Francesco was led astray by 30 pieces of silver.